like that, guys? Who here wants to be driving around in 2012 Nancy Pelosi? Coming soon to a theater near you, kids. That's right. You take a look at the top 10 cars that are sold here in America, not one is a subcompact. But you know what? We're getting subcompact, kids. I'm going to have to stuff my in-laws who do not drive, my 3 kids, my wife and myself, inside a bloody Pelosi running on some Briggs & Stratton lawnmower mower. Great. I'm looking forward to that one. That's going to be just fantastic. Most people don't even realize what happened in this deal because the media refuses to cover it. The unions, yeah, they got stock. They got stock in this deal, but they don't even care about the common stock that they're going to be getting when this thing comes out. They got billions and billions of dollars in preferred stock. So any money that is coming into these companies is going to be going directly to the union. That's change we can believe in. And if you actually take a look at this deal, most people here have seen The Godfather, right? See, I'm a big believer. You really don't need, someone who's gone to college and gone on for advanced degrees like myself. You know what? I think all you really need to do, instead of getting an MBA, is just watch Godfather 1 and 2 about 25 times, and you're all set. It's teach you all you need to know about business. But anyway, Barack Obama did his best Don Corleone with this deal. Basically breaking laws that have been on, contract laws that we've been following for thousands and thousands of years. Basically saying to secured creditors, you know what? Sorry. Now most people here understand how the system works. If you're a secured creditor, you need to get paid out if a company goes into bankruptcy. Most people don't realize where bankruptcy laws actually came from. It's around the turn of the century, when the railroads were going under. The railroads were going under, and they couldn't afford to pay back for their steel, for the rails. So rather than going in and saying, you know what, we're going to just rip up all the steel and sell it for scrap, they came up with this thing called bankruptcy, where they're going to negotiate it and get out of it. But it has to be put up to a judge, not the President of the United States, who's going to now start designing cars. Come on already. This guy has never signed the front of a check in his entire life. He's a community organizer that wants to take over healthcare, that wants to take over our auto sector here in the United States. Does anybody think that if last fall General Motors and Chrysler went bankrupt, they'd stop making Cadillacs? Are you kidding me? Somebody would have bought that brand up and they'd be making those cars today. Now what we're going to get is some Matchbox version of a Cadillac. Healthcare. Another line from The Godfather. Remember Godfather sitting around trying to end the battle between the 5 families. And he says, I have selfish reasons for breaking this. But I have selfish reasons in regards to healthcare. About a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, my brother had to go to the hospital. His leg was swollen. He didn't know what was wrong. Went to the hospital, and immediately, they saw that something was wrong, and they sent him off to get some tests. Had an MRI done, various different things done. And it was discovered that he has lymphoma. If I was a resident of Canada or Great Britain, my brother wouldn't know that he had that cancer right now. He wouldn't. This is my partner in the business that I run, what I do, and I am thankful to God that we have the healthcare system that we do here in this country, where he was able to get the care that he needed immediately. That's going to go away. Let me give everybody a little bit of lesson, because the doctor was up here who was talking about healthcare is right. Actually, one of the great things that George W. Bush did was he put something into play. It was called health savings accounts. Health savings accounts work. And if your financial advisor is not talking to you about health care, well, he's not a very good financial advisor at all. They don't get a lot of commission for setting up health savings accounts and high deductible health care, but it's something you need to do. I'll just give you my example. For my family of 5, my total out-of-pocket costs a year can't be any higher than $8,600. I have a $5,600 deductible. The rest goes to insurance. I put that money into my health savings account. It lowers my top line in regards to taxes. And whatever I don't use, I keep. Free market principles work. We have to stop throwing all these free market principles away. I want to talk a little bit about the mainstream media. Many people have come up to me today, and I actually get embarrassed to some degree and pat me on the back, and I get kind of shy. They've seen me on television, whatever it may be. I've made that foray into the world of CNN and Fox and various different other things. On Friday, I was supposed to go on Fox Business. Friday morning, I was supposed to be up in Tampa. They do it by satellite at around 7 a.m. But I got a phone call around 1 o'clock at night from the producer. They're like, "Chris, we're gonna have to bump you this Friday." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, why? What happened?" He's like, "Well, didn't you hear Michael Jackson died?" I'm like, "This is Fox Business, right? This is Fox Business Channel? I'm getting bumped for Michael Jackson? All right, whatever." But we here live in a great area called Sarasota, Florida, and one of the benefactors of this area is a gentleman by the name of John Ringling. Everybody's familiar with John Ringling. Started the circus. Actually brought all the circuses together and made it what it is today. But I actually say John Ringling is actually the founder of the press. Certainly the television press and the 24-hour news networks that we have today. It's become a circus. John and Kate plus 8 takes precedent over what's going on in this country? Have we lost our minds? Is this stuff really important? Every single time somebody goes missing somewhere, that is the lead story? That's a local story. We have pressing issues here in this country. As far as spending here in this country, anybody remember the cartoon Popeye? Remember Wimpy? I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. Well, that's what this country is doing right now. And I'm actually considering doing this on my website. I'm actually considering starting a letter writing or a petition. And I'm going to actually petition the Chinese government, the Russians, the Caribbean banking centers, and Luxembourg. These are some of the largest holders of our debt. And I want to think about starting a petition begging them to stop buying it. Because if they stop buying it, that will force our government to stop spending. Because that's what we have going on right now. It is out of control. 10 years ago, the entire budget of the United States was $1.7 trillion. Our budget deficit today is $1.8 trillion. Have we lost our minds? This is not about Democrat, this is not about Republican, because both parties are guilty. I am an equal opportunity basher. That's what we have to be. In fact, I am more angry with Republicans than Democrats. We already put ourselves in a hole. Barack Obama's just digging faster. It's as simple as that. Now everybody knows the blue-collar comedy tour. They say you might be a redneck. Well, because Janine Garofalo and Keith Olbermann, everybody in the mainstream press thinks we're a redneck, I'm going to do my little takeoff on the whole thing. You might be a redneck if you feel that it's prudent to live within one's means. You might be a redneck if you realize that whenever the high priests from the Church of Unintended Consequences get involved in the private sector, they make matters much worse. You might be a redneck if you think that thousands of years of precedent set in contract law should be followed. You might be a redneck if you think the Social Security system is a Ponzi scheme. You might be a redneck if you think a person should be judged based on the content of his character rather than the color of his skin. Martin Luther King. You might be a redneck if you think that driving a 2012 Pelosi is going to stink. You might be a redneck if you think Al Gore is the second coming of Dr. No. You might be a redneck if you think that the United States Constitution should be followed rather than ignored. Ronald Reagan said, "Government is not the solution to our problem, it is our problem." I guess Reagan was a redneck, and I guess I am too. Thank you very much, everybody.